Headlines around the world are hinting at the same story. A silent shift. A move no one can afford to ignore. In the heart of Subic Bay, once the most powerful US naval base in Asia, something massive is awakening. A base is being built in secret, and it is on track to become the largest in the Philippines. This isn't only about a construction project. It's about a nation reshaping its destiny in one of the most dangerous waters on Earth. For years, the Philippines was seen as small compared to global powers. Now, it is stepping into a position the world cannot look away from. The story of this base is about history, strategy, and survival. Subic Bay has always been more than a port. It was the front line during the Cold War. When the Americans left in the 1990s, silence fell. And now it stirs again at a time when tensions are reaching levels unseen in decades.
A dangerous incident in the South China Sea has renewed concerns about rising tensions between China and Philippines.
China is pushing deeper across the South China Sea. The United States is back with new promises of defense. Allies like Japan and Australia are watching closely. And right in the middle is the Philippines, preparing for a future that could tip the balance of power in Asia. The silence has been replaced by movement. Naval Station Nabasan is under construction. Grande and Chiquita Islands are being set aside as military reservations. Wharves are being rebuilt to host modern combat ships. Why build the largest naval base now? Because the Philippines understands the stakes. These waters carry global trade. Beneath them lie energy resources that can fuel nations. Above all, these seas are the lifeline of millions of Filipinos. Losing control is not an option. This base is a shield, a message, and a gamble all at once. And the world is paying attention. In this video, we'll reveal why the Philippines is building this massive base, what it means for the country, and why it makes China so uneasy. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss updates on the Philippines and its growing role in global affairs. Subic Bay is one chapter in a larger story. If tensions ever rise into conflict, the question becomes which nations will stand with the Philippines and which will side with China. Subic Bay has always been more than water. For centuries, it sheltered ships from storms and gave safe passage to traders crossing the Pacific. When Spain ruled the Philippines in the 16th century, they saw the bay as the perfect naval outpost, with deep waters close to vital shipping lanes. Later in the 20th century, Subic Bay grew even more vital when the United States turned it into one of its largest overseas military bases. For decades, it was the backbone of American power in Asia. Aircraft carriers, submarines, and warships were stationed here, and the base became a symbol of strength during the Cold War. At its peak, tens of thousands of Americans lived and worked inside Subic, making it one of the busiest naval hubs outside the United States. Then, in 1992, everything shifted. After nearly a century of US control, the base was returned to the Philippines. The departure was dramatic. Almost overnight, an area once filled with activity turned silent and uncertain. Many believed Subic Bay's strategic role had ended, but history wasn't done with Subic. Its story was entering a new chapter. Today, Subic Bay is alive again. After years of uncertainty, the Philippines has decided to restore it as one of its most vital military strongholds. The reason is clear. Tensions in the West Philippine Sea are climbing, and China's growing presence has forced the Philippines to prepare like never before. Subic's location is unmatched. It sits near contested waters and directly faces the main shipping routes used by foreign vessels. Any nation that commands Subic gains a powerful advantage in trade and defense. The Philippine Navy is steadily moving back in. Old American-built facilities are coming back to life, upgraded and expanded for a new era. Docks that once carried US warships are now being prepared to host Philippine frigates and submarines. Airfields are being modernized to handle surveillance planes and possibly fighter jets in the near future. Subic is being reshaped into a shield, guarding the nation's coastline and the resources it depends on. This revival is about more than military strength. It is about sending a clear signal. By breathing new life into Subic, the Philippines is showing it refuses to remain exposed. It is reclaiming a historic stronghold to stand taller against the challenges ahead. Yet behind the construction crews and visible upgrades, other plans are quietly in motion. Officials describe the work as simple modernization, but experts say the scale points to something far greater. Reports from defense analysts suggest Subic may soon become the largest, most advanced naval base the Philippines has ever built. Some documents hint at hidden storage for advanced weapons, long-range missiles, and modern radar systems. Evidence of cooperation with allies is also emerging. Satellite images show restricted areas expanding near old American bunkers, fueling speculations these could be prepared for joint use with US forces under the Mutual Defense Treaty. Quiet talks with Japan and Australia may also allow their ships and aircraft to operate from Subic when needed. That makes this bay not only a Philippine fortress, but also a potential hub for allied operations across the region. For now, leaders remain careful in their wording. They call it modernization, but the speed of construction and the secrecy around it tell a deeper story. Subic is evolving into more than a naval base. It is becoming a fortress with hidden layers of power, ready to play a decisive role if conflict reaches Philippine shores. No account of Subic Bay is complete without the United States. For nearly a century, Subic was the largest American military base in Asia. It launched missions during the Vietnam War and later stood as a Cold War stronghold. Even after closing in 1992, its bond with the US Navy never fully ended. American ships continue to visit for repairs, supplies, and training. Today, that connection is entering a new phase. Under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, the US has gained access to select Philippine bases, and Subic is once again in the spotlight. Reports indicate American contractors are quietly involved in rebuilding docks and runways. US warships are expected to return more frequently, not only for exercises, but for rapid deployment across the South China Sea. For Washington, Subic is more than a memory. It is a forward position to counter China's rise. For Manila, the US presence is a safety net, proof the Philippines is not standing alone. Subic is becoming a renewed symbol of partnership, where two nations prepare for the storms ahead. Yet Subic is more than a military asset. It is also an economic lifeline. Its harbour ranks among the deepest in the world, capable of hosting the largest ships and submarines. That makes it a natural hub for global trade, shipbuilding, and logistics. After the US base closed, Subic transformed into a freeport zone, attracting foreign companies and providing thousands of jobs to Filipinos. But in recent years, its role has shifted again. The same port facilities that power commerce now serve a strategic purpose. Oil tankers, cargo ships, and warships pass through daily, linking the Philippines to the global economy. Whoever controls Subic controls one of Asia's busiest maritime crossroads. For the Philippines, this means Subic carries prosperity in peacetime and protection in crisis. Strengthening Subic secures vital trade routes, fuels the local economy, and ensures the country can respond quickly to rising regional tensions. This blend of economic lifeline and military power makes Subic Bay one of the most valuable locations in the Indo-Pacific today. And China is watching every move. For Beijing, the revival of this naval hub strikes at the heart of its ambitions in the South China Sea. Chinese leaders know Subic is no ordinary port. It is a forward gateway capable of monitoring and responding to their naval activities across contested waters. Each time news emerges about upgrades at Subic or renewed defense cooperation, Chinese state media reacts instantly. They brand it a provocation, warning that foreign powers are meddling in what they call their backyard. To China, a stronger Subic means a stronger Philippines, backed by allies, and that complicates their path to dominance. This is why Chinese ships shadow Philippine patrols, and why pressure on Manila intensifies every time new defense projects are announced. Subic Bay has grown beyond being a base. It has become a symbol of defiance, proof the Philippines is no longer standing idle in the face of regional pressure. In response, the Philippines has launched one of its most serious military modernization programs in decades. Billions of pesos are being poured into new warships, fighter jets, submarines, and coastal defense systems. These upgrades are designed to give the nation tighter control over its waters and stronger protection for its people. At the heart of this transformation is Subic Bay. The new base is being prepared to host advanced naval assets, long-range radar systems, and joint training exercises with trusted allies. The goal is not only to defend the Philippines, but to guarantee that any attempt at intimidation will be met with a powerful and coordinated response. This moment marks a turning point. For the first time in years, the Philippines is not leaning solely on outside help, but actively building the capacity to stand firm in one of the most contested regions in the world. For everyday Filipinos, the return of Subic Bay as a major naval hub brings both pride and unease. Many see it as a proud symbol that the nation is finally taking control of its security. Older generations recall how Subic once stood as the country's shield, and to them, its revival feels like history, repeating with renewed strength. Yet some also fear the risks, wondering if rising tensions could one day reach their doorstep. At the same time, there is hope. The base promises jobs, foreign investment, and opportunities for local businesses. For most Filipinos, the message is clear. They want their nation respected, armed with the strength to defend itself, and ready to stand tall against any power that threatens their sovereignty. Subic Bay is no longer a stretch of coastline. It has become a living symbol of national dignity and determination. Its transformation into the Philippines' largest naval base is more than a construction project. It is a shift in the country's destiny. Subic is not only about defending coastlines, it is about reshaping the balance of power in Asia. By strengthening its defenses, the Philippines is declaring that it will no longer be pushed aside. It is stepping forward, ready to shape the future of the region. This move also strengthens the country's ties with allies like the United States, Japan, and Australia, nations that share the goal of keeping the South China Sea open and secure. As more partners look to work with Manila, Subic could soon evolve into a hub for joint exercises, advanced technology sharing, and international cooperation. For Filipinos, the future of Subic Bay is tied to hope. Hope that their nation will not only be safer, but also more respected across the globe. Hope that years of relying on others will give way to a future where the Philippines stands with its own strength and confidence. What began as a quiet naval expansion has become a symbol of resilience, showing the world that the Philippines is ready to defend its future against any challenge. Step back, and the bigger picture becomes clear. Subic Bay tells a story that stretches beyond steel warships and fortified harbors. It tells the story of a nation shaped by its past, tested by its struggles, and now determined to rise stronger than ever. What was once a silent bay is transforming into the beating heart of Philippine defense, where history and the future now collide. The creation of this massive naval base is not only about weapons or walls, it is about the message it carries. For the Philippines, it means seizing control of its destiny. It means proving to the world it will not remain in the shadows while its sovereignty is tested. For allies, it signals a reliable partner ready to stand with them in protecting peace and stability across Asia. For rivals, it sends a clear warning. The Philippines is no longer the nation they once underestimated. But beyond geopolitics, there is something deeply human in this story. For ordinary Filipinos, Subic is more than a military project. It is a symbol of pride and security, a promise that future generations will grow up in a nation that can protect them. It is also a source of opportunity, jobs, investment, and growth, turning a once-abandoned site into a place of progress and strength. Across the shipyards and coastal communities of Subic, people can feel something historic taking shape. When the first new ships dock and the first missions begin, the world will be watching. Some will see a small country stepping onto the global stage with new confidence. Others will see a bold move that could alter the future of the South China Sea. But for Filipinos, it will mean something more personal. It will be proof their country is no longer a bystander in its own story. Subic Bay will stand as a living reminder that no matter the challenge, the Philippines has the will to rise, rebuild, and defend its rightful place in the world. And as this new chapter begins, the real question is not whether Subic Bay will succeed, but how far its influence will reach. Because what begins here, in this historic bay, could one day shape the balance of power across the entire Asia-Pacific. If you found this deep dive into the untold story of Subic Bay eye-opening, don't forget to hit like and subscribe, so you never miss more content like this. Thank you for watching, and remember, the story of the Philippines is still unfolding, and Subic Bay is only the beginning.